Hello, everyone. My name is Anastasia Fress. This is my literature review and project proposal presentation. It is in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the University of Houston degree of Master's of Education for August of 2019. I'm part of the first cohort for the Lead Houston Fellowship at the University of Houston, and this is my capstone, the start of my capstone paper. This project is designed as a two-part study. We'll take a look at the teacher, who is me, my perspective, and also we will get the view of the students. So in the teacher's role, I'll be receiving an interactive whiteboard in place of a Promethean board that I've been using for the past several years in my teaching. The journey of attending professional development and working with the technology specialists on campus will be recorded in a journal. Any additional trainings, both informal and formal, will be included in my journaling. Students will be given pre- and post-tests and surveys to collect information on their attitudes and knowledge of not only geometry, but also of their use of technology in education. Specifically, the questions will focus on the triangle congruence postulates. This will include the side, 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 angle, side, angle, and also hypotenuse leg. They will also be surveyed on their attitudes about the interactive whiteboards and about the program GeoGebra. The Van Hille levels will be used to assess student knowledge, both before and after, in the hopes that there is an increase in student understanding. The study should last approximately 2 weeks, including all of the data collection and lesson being given. The importance of the study comes from several aspects of current research. Teachers are hesitant to change their teaching structure, including whether or not they will implement a new technology tool or program. Oftentimes, school districts will spend a lot of money on the latest technology tools and programs. However, few teachers actually use them. My school purchased Promethean boards a few years ago, and I might be the only teacher who continues to use them. So I don't want to see my school district waste the time and training and money with buying these new interactive whiteboards. So this is why I've chosen to do my capstone in this subject. There are many reasons for teacher resistance, and we will discuss those throughout this presentation. Teachers who do adopt new technology may not be using it in a way that truly enhances learning. We've talked about teacher-centered learning and use of the interactive whiteboards, and also versus, I should say, student-centered learning of the whiteboards. So it does require a mix of this, but again, it's all about using it in a way that actually enhances learning and not just as a projector screen. It also comes down to the fact that students are not grasping the concepts of geometry. They can recognize shapes and may be able to tell you a few properties, but they can't always see how shapes and their properties are interrelated, and it makes it hard for them to analyze once they get into high school or on a higher thinking level. This is a problem for students in 9th grade pre-AP geometry and also 10th grade geometry, and it shows that they struggle in coming up with their own conjectures and their own ideas about triangles and how to prove whether or not they are congruent to each other or not. And finally, looping back to teachers implementing new programs without proper sample sizes of research and data, it's difficult to convince teachers of the benefits of certain programs like GeoGebra So the more we can study these programs, the more evidence we will have to help encourage teachers to use these programs and tools in their classrooms. So my literature review, with all those things being said, it's the information that was the basis for forming these 5 themes to focus on, and they are teachers' views on integrating technology, benefits of interactive whiteboards, typical methods of teaching geometry, Van Hille levels, and the use of GeoGebra in the classroom. We'll go into more detail here into each theme. So for the first theme of teachers' views on integrating technology, there was a study that I reviewed, and the study looked at an integration of a handful of tools and programs. They offered grants to the schools to implement these things there, and at the end of the study, they found that only 56% of teachers regularly utilize the tool in class. Another school not related to the grant placed technology implementation on teacher contracts to motivate them to learn and use the tool. I feel had they shown teachers research on the benefits of technology in the classroom, they may not have needed to resort to linking their contracts to technology use. The educational gains that interactive whiteboards provide range from reducing behavior issues, increasing student engagement, helping teachers with time management, and even increased grades for students. It was even determined in a study that students' attitudes towards math improved, which will do wonders for the classroom, not only in behavior and engagement, but also scores and future likeness for the subject. How the tool is used is important, and that will be brought up again in later themes. The typical methods of teaching geometry. Of course, hands-on activities are very common in geometry. They have their own benefits, however, they also have their flaws. They usually lack accuracy. Human error comes into play. It can be time-consuming for the teacher to create the hands-on activities or to set up for the hands-on activities. It can also be time-consuming for the students to get through the activity in one 45-minute class period. And at the end, students might not really get to those deeper levels of analyzing and reasoning. And without those deeper understandings, students don't see the connections between concepts and properties. And this sort of isolates the shapes, and problem solving in the future becomes difficult. So that's why Van Hille levels have been used, and they go into more detail about how the concepts in geometry must be connected to each other. It would be ideal to get students in high school that are already at level 2, since the goal is to get them to levels 3 and 4 by the time they leave us. It is a challenge, but that's where special programs could help in these teaching aspects and get them to understand more about the shapes and how they are related, and so that they can use their logical reasoning to provide evidence in what they are trying to prove. And that brings us to our 5th theme, which is the use of GeoGebra. This program has helped to reduce teacher prep time. It has given students an amount of accuracy that other hands-on activities do not provide in determining shape properties. It's also resulted in increasing student scores, but more importantly, it has increased their conceptual understanding. And hopefully, by the end of my study this fall, it will yield the same or similar results. That is the hope that I am going for in these 5 themes. And all of them are going to hopefully help provide a lesson for the students that is engaging and not time consuming, but also at the higher levels of Van Heel thinking so that they can use those analytic problem solving strategies on future problems in my math class and in all the rest of their math classes that they take in high school and hopefully in college, higher education, etc. Okay, thank you for listening.